Hello, this is Erin with the Joy in Pens and Paper, and it is a 3 Inks Thursday video. This is number 45 in this series, and in a 3 Inks video, I take 3 inks, swatch them on 3 different papers, and then use 3 different nib sizes to do a writing sample, and then I talk about it and compare it. I have been going through the Diamine Inkvent calendar inks from 2024 and comparing them to different inks that I have in my collection. Just for those of you who also had the Diamine Inkvent calendar or were considering the Inkvent calendar and you're wondering if you missed out, you can see perhaps you might have a color already in your collection that is similar. Or you might just really like watching swatch videos. For the papers, I have Life Bank paper, Clairefontaine Rhodia paper, and Tomoe River paper within the Galen Leather Co. Everyday Notebook. I am getting towards the end of this, which I'm excited about. I'm going to finish it off with just 3 inks. And then at some point, I will do a flip through of this book. It's over 2 years worth of stuff in this book. I have a Kakimori brass nib dip pen in the Kakimori holder, and then I have 3 TWSBI Go pens in a fine, medium, and stub nib. The Diamine Inkvent for this ink for this week is Snow Globe. This is a chameleon ink, which means that the shimmer will present in 2 different colors depending on the lighting and or angle. And then I have 2 inks that I'm comparing it to. I'll put Snow Globe in the middle and the other 2 inks on the top and bottom. So the first one I'm going to start off with is Birmingham Pen Company Sterling Silver. This is in their Wishy Washy line. So I believe what that is it's a water-based ink, but I could be wrong. All right, so with the fine nib, I am going to write the brand name. Let me rinse that because that seems a little red from last week's inks. Apologies. That's better. And I'm just going to do a little pre-rinse of this one. Last week's inks were red and had a sheen, so very saturated. I'm not surprised that it needed that little extra rinse. All right, and then with the medium, I'm writing the ink name. And again, with the stub, I'm just going to do a little rinse. And with this, I'm just going to do some lettering, just so that we have the comparison. Whoops, oh, well, landed on its own spot. Okay, so Snow Globe is our ink. Here is the shimmer at the bottom. So I can see the blue and the purple as I move it around, but I'm not quite sure if you will see that. I am going to agitate it now and then start my swatch process. I will not be re-agitating it. So what we will likely see is a natural decrease in the volume of shimmer. These inks are not terribly saturated. This is, like I said, Snow Globe. And let's do our lettering. All right. Oh, it's so fascinating. Just looking at these right now, this looks like a whole different color. This is more teal versus the blue coming through. All right, and then the third ink is Robert Oster Gray Seas. Interesting. That is fascinating. It is always very surprising because I pick the comparison inks based on swatches on other papers, and sometimes I get very surprised that it actually doesn't serve as a fair comparison. This is a okay comparison. Gray Seas. And let's do our lettering. Oops, I forgot the lowercase on that one. That's okay. All right, so let's look at our three colors, starting off with Birmingham Pen Company, Sterling Silver. Again, I had that little bit of residual red, so paid no attention to the BIR. But this is a really lovely grayish blue. In some papers, there's some chromo shading of purple coming out, which I thought would be a really nice fit, but it's a little bit too light and gray to really be a good comparison for Snow Globe, but Snow Globe does have that purple chromo shading coming out in the swatches. And this teal color I am seeing along the edges of the saturated areas, which is just really fascinating. And then on the Rhodia, it's kind of this run-of-the-mill color. The shimmer is gorgeous. It is definitely more prevalent on the bank paper and the Rhodia paper, and less so on the Tomoe River, likely because it was the third, but I just can't get over. That is a different color. That's so wild. Oh, I love it. And then looking at Robert Oster Gray Seas, it's actually pretty similar across all three papers. You've got this nice blue that's it's similar to the Tomoe River swatch, but it leans a little bit more purple. So you've got a little bit more gray, a little bit more purple. And there are some variations in the color. There's some darker, a little bit leaning a little bit more purple / almost pink coming through in all three swatches, but it's a fairly run-of-the-mill color. Looking at the legibility, with the different nib sizes. So you have a fine, medium, and stub. It is legible with all 3 nib sizes. I think, not surprising, the medium and the stub is going to show off a bit more of the chroma shading and the shading in general. There's some really nice shading going on with the sterling silver. But like I said, it is legible even with that fine nib. Excuse me. So that is my 3 inks comparison number 45. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope I see you in my next video.